Welcome to Candlelit Blow, an intimate experience between two cousins, Brandon
and Luis,
Sit back, light the candles,
and try some of those bath salts.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Candlelit Blow.
With our sensual magic.
Yes, with our sensual magic. Our second episode of DBZ, the Android and Cell Saga. As always, I am one of your hosts, Brandon. Joining me are the two other goons over here, the menage a trois. We got William.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
We got Luis.
Hello.
Hello. So, this is a special episode. This episode is actually is coming out on the 30th anniversary of Dragon Ball Z premiering.
The 30th anniversary.
The week of the 30th anniversary of Dragon Ball Z premiering on Japanese television. So, that's a thing. So, woo!
Yes, 30 years of this
30 years.
series being
because
out.
apparently we weren't feeling old enough as it was that we need to remind ourselves that we are older than fucking Dragon Ball Z.
You're the only old one here, William.
Damn.
Wow, it's gonna be like that. Okay.
That's right.
So let's go right into it. As I was saying before, this is the second episode we're going to be covering the Android Saga and the Cell Saga.
And where we left off.
The dragon has not been able to bring back Goku because he is still alive. Now, there is a filler arc. But where? There is a filler arc here. I'm gonna skip that. Fuck the filler arc.
Which
is that Garlic Jr.?
Yes, it's the Garlic Jr. saga.
I'm okay with that.
Nobody really cares.
I'm okay with that too. So let's skip ahead. So everyone's all right on Earth. You know, Vegeta's living on Earth, and basically they all start feeling Frieza's power coming ever so closer to Earth.
Yep.
And because of them being able to sense power levels, they know exactly where Frieza is going to land. So they all congregate and go to that place. But before they get there, Frieza lands, and Frieza is now half robotic. He did not die on Namek, and he can also breathe in space. So when Namek blew up, he was all right, and basically his army picked him up, and they, made him like a half cyborg. So Frieza decides, oh shit, fuck Goku, I'm going to Earth, and I'm gonna exact my revenge with his father, King Cold. Gotta love these names,
right?
And
King Cold, Freezer. Somebody's thinking about cold shit.
Well, yeah, Akira Toriyama loves that shit. Coolers is his brother, but then also like Bulma or Buruma, basically those are like panties, Trunks.
Yeah.
Kakarot is carrot. Like, he loves that shit. He loves puns. So
probably another reason why I love this show so damn much.
You and your dad damn puns.
So Frieza shows up, and there is a man there. This young boy, guy in his like early 20s, I would assume.
Blue hair.
With blue hair, this awesome fucking jacket, and a sword.
Yes. And with a Capsule Corp symbol, which is what the first thing that Bulma notices.
Yeah, so one of Frieza's men basically detects the kid's power level, and basically it says 5. Fun fact, this is the final time they ever use a scouter in Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
And yes, this is the final time that they use a scouter. They say that his power level is 5, and then this man proceeds to decimate everyone in Frieza's army on Earth, and he proceeds to do something that...
With a sword.
And he proceeds to do something that, as a viewer, you wouldn't know, which is he turns Super Saiyan. Now, There's only one other person that we know of that can do that, which is Goku. So you're like, who the fudge is this guy?
And he turns it on a whim. He literally just goes,
Yeah, he's like,
Super Saiyan.
and then just powers up, turns Super Saiyan, and proceeds to fight Frieza, cut him in half, and chop him into
slice
little
him
pieces.
into tiny little pieces.
And then blow him away. Yeah, and then
That is the coolest. By the way, for me, I'm sorry, that is until the Cell Saga.
Yeah.
With the whole Gohan fight, that is the coolest way that somebody dies in this show so far.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So unexpected.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Like, you just see, like, I'll never forget, like, that scene where Frieza looks up at him and he's just coming down at him with the sword. And Frieza looks like he has fear in his eyes because he fears the Super Saiyan. And he's like, oh my god. So he kills Frieza, he kills King Cold.
PTSD.
Yeah, he's like, oh! He kills King Cold, and then all the Z fighters show up. And they're like, who are you? And he's like, that doesn't matter. And they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, Goku's going to be showing up here in like an hour or two. And they're like, what? And the kid is right. Goku has shown up, and
Vegeta is hilarious in this scene because he's kind of like walking around like, all right, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Goku is the only Saiyan, Super Saiyan. How can another person surpass me like this? So he's
not only that, but like
this.
there's very little Saiyans. So Vegeta's like, who the hell is this guy? Like, I know who all the Saiyans are that are alive. So he basically tells Goku that he is Trunks from the future. And basically he tells him that in 3 years' time, these androids are going to show up and kill all of them. And Goku.
Do you remember the date? Do you remember the exact date? Like the month of the day?
I do not. Do you?
I do. What is it? It's May 12th. And you know why I remember that fucking date?
Why?
Because it's my motherfucking birthday.
Hey! So they're going to show up, kill everybody, and Goku is going to contract this heart disease and die from it. And basically he tells them that his world is completely destroyed. His mother is Bulma and his father is Vegeta.
Yep. Which nobody knew at this point that Vegeta and Bulma were hooking up. So everybody looks at them like, Goku looks at him like, what?
You're his son? So, Trunks leaves and he tells them, I'll be back in 3 years. Train, basically. So they train, and on the day of May 12th, as William said, they all go to this island where Trunks tells them this is the island that they're going to show up on.
Yeah.
And
by the way, there is a wonderful channel on YouTube called Team 4-Star.
Yes.
And they have done all up until the end of the Cell Saga, Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Yes.
And the part where they're waiting for Goku has got to be the funniest part in the entire channel, especially the fact that what's his name is wearing a pink shirt.
Yeah,
Vegeta.
Vegeta is wearing a pink shirt, and they make light of it, and it's
I forgot what it says. I think it says badass or something like that, or something.
It keeps changing. Like every scene that he's in, they change it, which is what makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
It's if you get a chance, if you have a chance and you want to see Dragon Ball that's never been like you've never seen it before, watch this. It's hysterical.
Yeah, that's right. It says bad man.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but so they all show up at this island, and Bulma shows up with a baby, who is Trunks. So in those 3 years, sometime in those 3 years, her and Vegeta had sex, and she got pregnant, and had Trunks.
Vegeta's reaction to her is priceless. He's like, "Oh God, stop talking, you stupid bitch."
Yeah, like he just doesn't give a shit about her. So they show up on this island, and they're waiting for these androids to show up. Mind you, they don't know what they look like. And basically, this fat white guy shows up with, not, when I say white, he's like legitimately white. and
like
this
clown face white.
Yeah, like clown face white, and this old man with long hair. And what happens has to be one of the most brutal scenes in Dragon Ball Z is when who you find out is Android 20. Android 20 grabs Yamcha by the face and impales his arm through him.
Oh, that thing is awesome.
Yeah, and I was just like, whoa! Like, literally just impales his arm straight through Yamcha. And they go, basically, they leave this city, and they go to the middle of nowhere to fight these two androids, whom we find out is Android 19 and Android 20.
Yeah.
And they tell Goku that basically Android, is it 20 the old man or 19? I always forget.
I don't remember.
He's 20.
20, right? That's what I thought.
Yes.
Yes. So Android 20 is Dr. Gero, whom basically was a scientist for the Red Ribbon Army, which is an enemy from Dragon Ball that Goku defeats. So from Dragon Ball, basically Dr. Gero makes this little like ladybug robot that follows Goku and everybody else up until right before they leave for Namek. And basically he gets all that data and he makes these robots that are capable of killing, Goku and his friends.
Yep.
So
with the body parts and DNA material from all the villains that they defeat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So they Goku starts fighting Android 19, the clown guy, and turns Super Saiyan. And they're all surprised because, of course, they didn't follow them to Namek, so they had no idea that
Right.
that he could turn Super Saiyan or what that is at all. So they start fighting, and in the middle of the fight, Goku starts basically having heart pains, like chest pains.
Yep.
And they decide Yamcha takes him away, and in that, Vegeta shows up. And one of the coolest scenes in Dragon Ball Z is when he basically turns Super Saiyan for the first time.
Yeah, he does.
And it is... I remember as a kid watching it, I was like, holy shit. This man... And he just... like, when I say decimates Android 19, like, I mean he fucking decimates this guy. Like, there's one scene where he grabs Android 19's wrists. So basically, the androids have
he toys
these.
with them at first.
Yeah, he toys with them, but the androids have like these buttons, for lack of a better term, on their like palms that can suck your power, your ki out, right? So, for instance, if you throw a Kamehameha or an energy blast at them, they'll just suck it up with their hand. So he literally, Android 19 grabs Vegeta by the hands, and Vegeta grabs him by the wrists, puts his feet on Android 19's face, and rips off his like hands. And I think at one point he says, "Do androids feel fear?"
Yep.
It's like the most like sadistic shit. You're like, holy god!
I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
For the first time in the series, we see his Big Bang attack where he completely destroys Android 19 with it. At this point, Dr. Gero / Android 20 is like, peace, and leaves. Yeah. And at that point, Trunks shows up, sees the head of Android 19, and says, "What is this? These are not the androids from my timeline."
And these are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, basically.
What they're looking for, damn it, you beat me to it.
Yeah, so basically, as a viewer, you're like, what's going on? Who are these androids? Why are they different from the ones in Trunks' timeline? Fast forward, the Z Fighters chase Dr. Gero to his lab, and at his lab, Dr. Gero wakes up androids 16, 17, and 18, which are all these fucking kids. They all look like teenagers with these super cool styles. I love their style.
Hell yeah.
And they basically rebel against Dr. Gero and they kill him. And then The android saga after that is basically them fighting these androids and getting owned by them. Like, there's a sequence when Android 18 breaks Vegeta's arm.
Oh my god!
When they're fighting on the side of the highway.
Scene.
Yeah,
and like goes in slow motion, and you can almost like feel his arm break.
Yeah, you're just like, oh.
And this was after she broke Trunks' sword with her hand.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they, at this point, they know that they are severely overpowered or underpowered compared to the androids. So, they start trying to. So they start giving Goku his medicine to get him better, which Trunks has given them from the future, so he doesn't die from his heart disease. And at that point, because of Trunks, Bulma, and Gohan find another time machine.
Yep.
And it's the same time machine of Trunks. And Trunks is like, how is that possible? My time machine is with me. I have it in a capsule. And they find out that basically Dr. Gero had made a fail-safe monster, I guess for lack of a better term, called Cell. Yep. That was capable of sucking up androids 17 and 18 to become the perfect life form to kill the Z Fighters. And they find out that that Cell has come from an alternate timeline where in that timeline he killed Trunks before he came to Earth and took his thing. So the Cell on their timeline, I know this is kind of confusing. The Cell on their timeline is still alive and still growing. So they find that laboratory. I think Krillin finds it, if I'm not mistaken, and like destroys it.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And then basically Cell shows up, and this is a man that's way more powerful than the androids. So Piccolo goes up to Kami's lookout.
Hold on. We got to talk about the pacifist android as well.
Oh, 16?
Yeah, 16. He's so interesting. This is one of those characters that kind of like you don't expect to come out of the series, and then when they do, you're like, whoa, this is interesting as hell. And I love that whole story arc because this whole android saga is very interesting. The way it develops, it gets to a point where they know that they're so powerful that what the hell's the point of just destroying everything? So they go little by little and start exploring the planet and start realizing the relationship between organisms and themselves. And they kind of have like this existential crisis because they find out that they could be absorbed by this monster creature. And at the same time, they're like, I don't know what to do, but in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my time, which is very fascinating. It kind of gives this weird sense of like,
they're children
of impending doom, you know?
They're kids. Like, the androids are kids. They just want to like hang out and like, cause havoc and shit. It's really interesting.
But 16 is like a little child, and like there's a scene where these birds land on him, and he's like powering up and completely getting ready to attack. But these birds land on him, and he just looks at them with this face of like complete tranquility, and it's such an offset like personality thing. It's so interesting the way they do that.
Yeah,
my question that I've always wondered is Dr. Gero knew nothing of the Super Saiyans.
Yes.
Because he never sent anybody to Namek, so no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So he made them strong enough to beat Goku at the level that he thought Goku had achieved. But Goku, and by extension, Vegeta and Trunks, having gone Super Saiyan, should have been able to take care of the androids with no problem.
He wanted to knock them out completely and utterly. And he didn't realize that by resurrecting a cell, that it actually made them more powerful. So by, say, grabbing the cells of a Saiyan, like they did with Vegeta and Goku, and putting that into one of the androids, you're making that android that much more powerful, because something we haven't talked about is the Saiyans, every time they are on the brink of death or at death, they become that much more powerful when they come to.
Yes.
And it makes them shoot in like exponential form, like their power levels. So that's the same thing with the cells that the what do you call it, Jiro is capturing, and he's making them into this perfect Saiyan because everybody, everybody's in there.
So Cell is completely out of their league at this point, and so Piccolo goes up to Kami Lookout and tells Kami, "Let us fuse. Let's become one person again." And Kami at first is like, "Nah, I don't know about this," but then he gives in. He's like, "All right, let's do it." So they fuse. Piccolo is no longer Piccolo, even though he still continues to refer to him as that name for the rest of the series. And he goes to fight Cell, and he's actually more powerful than Cell. He almost beats Cell, but Cell for a little bit, and then Cell kind of is like, "Peace, deuces." He does the
instant transmission.
No, he doesn't do. He does the solar flare.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He does the solar flare, which at that point, no, they realize at first they're like, "What's going on?" When he does the Kamehameha, and then Piccolo's like, "How do you know that attack?" And then, basically at this point, that happens. Cell goes around causing havoc, and the androids are 16, 17, and 18, find out that Goku is staying at Master Roshi's house. So they go there to basically kill him. And Piccolo is like...
Because remember, everybody, the goal of these androids is not to take over the world. It's to kill Goku.
Yeah, it's just to kill Goku, basically.
That's their whole point in life, is to kill Goku. Yes. With the exception of Cell. Cell is a special case.
Yeah. So they go there to kill Goku, and Piccolo is there, and he's like, "No, you're going to fight me." So they go to this random island, and it's there that basically Piccolo starts fighting Android 17, and it's just like back and forth. It's a really cool like fight, and then Cell shows up, and Cell proceeds to suck up Android 17 and transform into his second form. Then this is when shit really hits the fan.
Yeah, it does.
It gets worse and worse. At this point, the Z Fighters, I think Goku is awake at this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he is awake. He goes to Kami's lookout, or Dende's lookout now. Not Dende's lookout yet, but Kami's lookout. And with Gohan, Trunks, and Vegeta. And they basically...
right now, it's imperfect Cell still.
Yeah, it's imperfect Cell.
And he looks like this weird, like, bug-looking thing. He looks like a giant mosquito.
Yeah, and then he sucks up 17, and he still looks like a mosquito, but he sort of looks like a man now. It's really weird. So, excuse me. Trunks and Vegeta go into this room called the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, which is a special room that is in Kami's lookout that if you spend an entire Earth day in that room, it's an entire year in that room.
Yes. So
they spend an entire day in that room, and they come out battle-hardened and all this shit, and Goku goes in with Gohan, and in that room, he proceeds to show Gohan how to turn Super Saiyan and all this stuff, and they start training. And then, while they're doing that, Vegeta and Trunks go towards the fight where Imperfect Cell is at, where he's trying to find Android 18 because he wants to become Perfect Cell.
Yep.
At the same time, Krillin is there with a remote control that is capable of killing Android 18 so that Cell cannot, suck her up. But he kind of has like this like really weird like interest in her, like romantic interest.
Yeah.
He's like, she's real pretty. And then they show up, and Trunks stays back, and Vegeta powers up, and that's when Cell second form is like, Vegeta's on a whole nother level. I can't compete with him.
Yeah.
Basically, Trunks and Vegeta have.
Because Trunks and Vegeta just came out of the
the hyperbolic time chamber.
So they had just done the training that they could push to pretty much the cusp of the legendary Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah, well, they hit like what people
That
refer to as
1.5.
like 1.5 basically.
Yeah.
So
Which you find out is like one of the stupidest versions ever. And it's like
yeah, they're super
never
slow.
used again.
Yeah, they're super slow, very bulky. Like they're powerful, but they're not fast at like whatsoever.
Yeah.
So Vegeta starts fighting Cell, and Cell starts pleading with him like, "Please let me suck up Android 17, so I could give you a fair fight." And Vegeta, being the absolute fucking idiot that he is like,
Goku
yeah.
would have done the same thing. Come on, let's be
Yeah,
real.
he probably would have. He was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So he sucks up 17, becomes Perfect Cell, and continues to fight him. And then at that point, Vegeta figures out, oh shit, I can't compete with him. And Vegeta hits him with the first ever Final Flash, ripping his entire body up. Like he destroys like half of Cell's body, but Cell
Little
has
cells that are left.
Yeah, no, not even he has like half his body, but he has like Piccolo's cells in him, so he can regenerate his body.
Yep.
And then he just destroys Vegeta, and then all right, Trunks is like, okay, let's go in, and then we proceed to see that Trunks is stronger than his dad. Actually, he has hit a level above his father, but that version is like the true 1.5 that is like super slow, and he just can't keep up with Perfect Cell. So he tells Cell, or Cell says, you know what? I'm going to make a tournament.
Yep.
The Cell games. In 7 days, you guys are going to meet me at this location, and we're going to duke it out in a tournament. And then Trunks is like, all right. So at that point,
he starts teasing Cell, Trunks does, and says, oh, if you wait 7 days, if you wait 5 days, I will have a true competition for you. And Cell's like, how about this? I'll give you 7.
Yes, that is it. That is it.
And that's where the tournament begins.
Yeah, so at this point, Gohan and Goku get out of the hyperbolic time chamber. Gohan and him are in this weird perpetual like Super Saiyan state for some odd reason.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And then they wait the 7 days, and they go to this arena that Cell has made. That Cell has made in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Yep.
To fight him. And also we get introduced to one of the best characters in Dragon Ball Z, Mr. Satan. God damn it, do I love that character.
Oh dear God, he annoys the shit out of me.
Seriously. Yikes.
Hercule.
Hercule's because they couldn't call him Mr. Satan.
It's so stupid, Americans.
But his actual name is Mr. Satan.
Yes, it is.
For Christ's sake.
That is what he is forever known.
Yeah, his daughter is an anagram of devil, for Christ's sakes. Like,
yeah, it is.
So, the Earth basically sends Mr. Satan over, and thinking that he can defeat Cell when he is like nowhere near as powerful as anybody there.
But he is the world champion.
And he has the best voice. Super deep. In English, it's the best.
He's basically imagine Hulk Hogan in this alternate world. That's exactly who he is. Yes. He's a mix of Hulk Hogan with Macho Man in there, because the voice and everything just reminds me of Macho Man more than Hulk.
He really, now that you mention, I've never put that together, but yes, he does look like Randy, Randy Savage or something like.
And for everybody out there that's listening to this, Randy Savage released his new album, and it is hilarious.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, it is pretty hilarious. It is pretty on point. I was listening to it on the way home today.
Oh my God! Wait, Dark Side of the Ring? No,
I forgot the name of it, but it just came out.
Brother, I just love it so much. I'm sorry.
It's a rap album by Randy Savage.
Oh my God. So they go to this arena. Mr. Satan is there. He's being basically videotaped, and but by the time that he goes to fight, Cell knocks him away, and then. I forget what happens, but the camera breaks, so the world isn't able to see what truly happens. But the first person to fight Cell is Goku. And they start fighting, and it's like this constant back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And then Goku does the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. He's like, peace, I give up. My son is going to beat you. And everyone's like, what? You're sending your son out to get killed by this madman?
Mm-hmm.
And
he walks out with this pride.
Yeah,
this
he's
sense
like,
of pride. This is a new Gohan. This is completely different. This is the Gohan that you've never seen before.
Yep.
One that actually knows what he's doing and capable of challenging anybody and everything. And Piccolo's face.
At the beginning, I feel like Gohan, is still scared.
No, he is. He's
Gohan
scared shitless.
He's like,
but
oh,
he doesn't
shit.
show it. He doesn't put it on his face. He puts it in like the emotion that you hear in his voice when he's narrating the clip.
Yeah.
But you can't see it in his face. He's walking with this pride of the Saiyans and the whole weight of the Saiyan race right behind them too. And
yeah,
he's
so he proceeds to start fighting Cell, and Cell is, he's no match for Cell. So he unleashes these. Cell proceeds to unleash these little mini versions of himself called Cell Juniors.
Yeah,
and they start wrecking everybody there. And at that point, 16 is there, and he gets. I forget, how does he get decapitated?
I don't remember.
Who gets decapitated?
Android 16.
Oh,
I don't remember how that happens.
Android 16 at this point had taken on Cell and gotten his ass kicked because he watched his other two cellmates. Get it?
Wow.
Get absorbed.
Wow.
Dying.
Wow.
That was good. You can't even tell me that was not good. That was good. That was because you would never have thought about that. His two cellmates get absorbed. So he fought Cell, got his ass whooped, and he's just kind of like laying on the ground, barely alive. Gohan is at this point taking on Cell, not realizing the power that he has built in him.
Yes.
And the same power that Goku can feel and whatnot. And Cell's trying to get him to come out with his power and everything. He tried creating his little blue cells at this point that attacked all the other Z fighters, and even that's not really helping. And there's this back and forth with Gohan and the android talking about life and how much life, he's never going to be able to experience all this and blah, blah, blah. Cell gets bored of it and basically steps on Cell on the android so hard that he explodes.
Yeah.
And his head is the only thing that really remains and rolls by Gohan, which then Cell proceeds to destroy as well. That's when Gohan loses his shit.
Yeah, he snaps in, honestly...
Which is so cool the way it happens, because it's that white line that goes across his ears, through his ears, and he just goes, and he goes to that image of the what do you call it, the ape? The ape.
Yes.
And then it kicks in like that flashback of him turning into an ape back in the Saiyan Saga, and then you see the little bird, and the hair goes full on.
In the Japanese version, there's a song that plays, which is just absolutely beautiful. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's just like I want to say it's like this girl that's like singing it, and literally like you feel for Gohan. You almost feel Gohan in you, and you're like, wow, like okay.
And then
this is where it's gonna happen.
This is the moment, or it was leading up to, where you, as a viewer, think that Toriyama was trying to make Gohan the main character of Dragon Ball Z, which he succeeds. At this point, Goku is not the main character. It is Gohan. Nope. So Gohan has ascended beyond anybody. He is a true Super Saiyan 2 at this point. And he just goes around kicking Cell Juniors in half, like judo chopping their heads off. And
Cell starts freaking out.
Yeah, Cell's like, what the fuck? And then
Cell's looking like Vegeta when Vegeta let him go full, like,
Yes.
perfect cell,
Yeah.
realizing, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Which
And then
goes to show that as perfect as Cell was, he was not perfect because he's supposed to learn from the weaknesses.
Well, he's a
of
Saiyan.
everybody. Yeah, but I mean, he talked Vegeta into letting him go full Cell and realizing that he was going to overpower Vegeta. And yet he makes the same mistake by pushing Gohan to go Super Saiyan 2, which then is his demise in the end, where he should have learned that. He's like, oh, I did this to Vegeta and it backfired on him. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this to myself. But no, which is great.
And then one of my favorite things is when Gohan punches Cell in the stomach and Cell vomits out Android 18. And he reverts back to his second form, and that's when, in his last-ditch effort, he basically inflates himself to blow himself up and destroy planet Earth. And Goku decides to sacrifice himself. He basically touches Cell and does instant transmission, meaning he can teleport anywhere that he can see, that he's been before. And he immediately goes to King Kai's planet, which is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And he's like, why are you here? And then Cell blows up and kills everybody on the little planet. It's so dumb. God, Goku's an idiot. So, they think they've won. They're like, oh shit, we did it. Holy shit, Gohan, like, bravo, you succeeded. And then Trunks gets, like, a blast through the chest.
Yep.
And you're like, what? And you see Perfect Cell standing there. And basically he's like, yeah, there was like a little piece of me left and I regenerated and I learned instant transmission. Deus Ex Machina bullshit. And I'm back on Earth, and for some odd reason, actually not some odd reason, he has Saiyan cells in him. I am stronger now than ever. He's stronger than a Super Saiyan 2 now. And Gohan can't compete with him. So they start, duking it out again.
The duel of a lifetime, let me tell you.
And then they both do Kamehamehas, but at this point, like, Gohan, one of his arms is completely, like, broken, and he can't do anything with it, so he does, like, a one-armed Kamehameha.
Oh, my God, that scene is impressive. The way where both Kamehamehas are clashing against each other and bloating over into this massive ball in the middle.
Yeah.
And they're both walking towards each other, trying to close in on the Kamehameha.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the image of Goku arrives behind him, and all the souls in the Japanese version, you see all the people that died at the hand of Cell behind him. And all the power of all these souls, just like he did with the spirit bomb, come out of Gohan's power and completely engulfs Cell in a way that shoots him across the planet and destroys him.
Well, you know that Vegeta plays a part in that, right?
Yes.
Vegeta hits him with a Big Bang attack, and then...
a Big Bang attack, and Goku's like, now
and then...
in the background.
Yeah, and then Gohan, like, screams, and then he does, like, the fully powered up, like, Kamehameha, and completely obliterates Cell to the point where there's, like, nothing left of him.
Yeah.
And basically...
but have you seen the Japanese version of that?
Yes.
And it's all the souls of all the people that were killed. Oh, it's like the army of spirits. Oh, dude, it's a whole army of spirits that walk behind him. And obviously Goku is right behind him, holding him on the shoulder. But oh my God, it's impressive, dude.
Yeah. And
it's a beautiful 10 minutes of cinema, dude.
Yeah, so they have defeated Cell. So at this point, they start, like, rebuilding. Everyone starts going back to normal. Future Trunks is like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go back to my timeline to
Peace out.
hold it down there. And
Peace on Earth begins.
They decide to try to wish Goku back, but he tells everyone, "Don't wish me back. All I bring is basically, don't do it, bro. Anytime I'm on Earth, bad things happen."
Yeah.
So Trunks goes back to his timeline and kills both Android 17 and 18 in his timeline, and also kills Cell, and basically brings peace to his timeline. And there's also peace in their timeline. And then
there's the filler episodes.
And then 7 years pass and peace. And then we'll get into it on the next episode, the final episode of this 3-parter, the Majin Buu arc, the longest arc in Dragon Ball Z. I think it's like 90-something episodes or some shit like that.
It
is.
It's
very long. So as always, here's hoping to another 30 years of Dragon Ball in some sort of way, some shape or form. We got
and anybody that's coming out to SuperCon this year, both Goku and Vegeta's voice in the American version will be there once again, and it is always a pleasure to meet them. They are the greatest at having a conversation. They will sit and talk for hours about this show.
Where are they going to be?
At SuperCon.
SuperCon or MegaCon?
SuperCon in Miami.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, this year they're doing it in Miami Beach, so anybody out in the Miami or South Florida area, definitely go out and check them out. They're well worth the trip.
Honestly,
that's on my list too as well, SuperCon, along with Dragon Con as well.
Yeah, I need I've been to SuperCon, but I've never been to Dragon Con. Honestly, I've seen interviews with both of them, and you could tell that they absolutely adore Dragon Ball Z and everything that they do.
Throughout the convention, they were just throwing a little ball from table to table.
They're friends, dude. Like, at the end of the day, this show created their careers.
Not only that, they really play into what the characters are.
Yeah,
they're competitive against each other, very competitive against each other, because they both, in the panel that I heard, they both like try to out joke each other, like William does, like with the dad jokes and stuff like that, and they try to outdo each other each time. And it is the funniest thing listening to them talk, because they're trying to find puns within the conversation of the others. And it's just like the show. It's like watching a team version of them that can't kill each other.
Oh my god. So, yeah, honestly, I hope that we keep getting Dragon Ball, or, if we don't, hey, we have plenty of material. It's a really fun ride. And, here's to another 30 years of Dragon Ball.
And next week for our
final.
Yes.
Our final arc. Thank you, William.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Luis.
Thank you, Brandon.
I'm Brandon, and as always, keep those candles on.
And bath salts.
Yes. You can't have one without the other, right?
Exactly.